Hey y'all, what is up? Welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. It really just depends if you're new here or not, and if you are new here, hello, welcome, we talk shit. Anyways, with that being said, bear with me for this video. I don't know if y'all have watched my last 2 to 3 videos, but I've been telling y'all how I've been having like lazy days. I've just been chilling in bed, not doing that much of anything. And I thought it was because I was quite literally just having lazy days, but today I woke up and it hit me full force like a truck, okay? I have a cold. I have a cold. I have the immune system of a premature baby, so if you even look at me wrong in public, I'm probably going to catch a cold from it. We are going to be talking about Ash Trevino today. I know, she's a new character unlocked on this channel, and honestly, I never thought I'd make a video about her. I never really wanted to make a video about her, but we're going to be talking about the rash cream itself, Ash Trevino. That was a joke, but in all seriousness, her name really does sound like it's some form of cream that you would get to treat a rash. But on a more serious note, I believe she could have either been A, dropped on her head as a child, or B, went through some form of trauma in her life to where she just stopped developing anything at the ripe age of 16, because she has a lot of issues that are still not worked through as a full-grown adult. Now, I feel like whether you choose A or you choose the option B, I feel like either one of those are a strong indicator that this woman is just not right in the head. We're going to be getting into it. She went on this podcast with Camilla, somebody from the Bop House. And if y'all don't know what the Bop House is, it's pretty much just a content house. Like, you had the Phase House, you had... there's other houses out there too, and I can't remember them now. There's a lot of, like, clout houses, basically, where all these influencers will get together, rent out a house, and then they will use that house to create content from. And the Bop House is quite literally a bunch of female OF creators who, you know, rent the house together to film content, and Ash Trevino decided to go on a podcast with Camilla and bring her 2 young children with her, who is currently 12 and 15. She instantly got a lot of backlash for that, because people's like, why would you bring 2 children around the Bop House? Why would you bring them there when it's a lot of OF content creation that goes on in the house? It's a lot of corn stars, if you will, and people just had an issue with that anyways, and Ash Trevino was like, well, they wanted to go. They wanted to be a part of it. And just because your child wants to do something, you as the parent have to be the one to determine if it's appropriate or not for your child to do. But Camilla, the girl who ended up initiating this podcast with Ash Trevino, threw a lot of jabs at her and called it the world's worst mom, and Ash was not a fan of that.
Deny anything because it was there. I've never spoken to anybody else on the internet but her. Did I know she was going to name it that? No, I didn't. If I would have known she was going to name it what she named it, I wouldn't have done it, to be honest. Because I'm not the world's worst mom.
A bed, 2 mattresses, 2 of them. I want a headboard and 2 nightstands. I'm going to order that before you leave this house today. Please tell me why your children don't have that.
Jealous because of the life that they have. They don't go to school anymore. They're homeschooled. You know, they can just get up and leave, take a trip. And honestly, I mean, there's reasons why I pulled up a school, because she wasn't talking to certain friends anymore also. Right. And it wasn't because of me.
This entire time, y'all, we're going to be getting into it more in depth here in a minute. I'm just throwing like little bits of clips up here just so y'all can get a little bit of context for what it's going to be about. She was asked a lot of questions. And she even later did a live stream talking about how if she knew how in-depth the questions were going to be, she would have asked for some form of payment, which that's not even the case, because Camilla quite literally said, why would I pay her to be on the podcast if I quite literally paid for her to fly out here? I paid for the hotel rooms. I paid for literally every expense for them to be here. Why would I also pay her on top of that to be on the podcast? I can understand if, like, Ash flew herself out there, paid for everything, and then got payment for the podcast, but she's not going to pay you for, like, every little step of the trip. You're truly nobody but a horrible mom on the internet. Why would she do that? Not just that, but she took a lot of jabs at Ash over her parenting, and keep in mind, Camilla is not a parent. She's not even in the headspace of wanting to be a parent. And if somebody like that, who is literally not a parent, doesn't even want to be a parent anytime soon, can see somebody else's really shitty behavior, you as a parent need to just wake the fuck up and realize you're doing a terrible job if somebody's calling you out for your parenting who isn't even in the headspace of wanting to have children yet. That should give you a little bit of insight and clarity to how bad your decision making actually is when it comes down to raising your kids, but not just that. The things that she says to her kids make me genuinely pissed off, like it makes my skin crawl. If you know anything about Ash Trevino, you know that the parents are not, she's a bad parent, and the dad's no longer there, no longer with them. And she had brought up the fact, well, my daughter had a Gucci purse when she was 15, but I had her dad. And that's, why would you say that to your kid who no longer has her father?
I should have had her pay me, but I didn't. And I didn't realize how in-depth questions were going to be, because if I would have done that, then I would have asked for some payment.
Now, Ash Trevino was even asked during a point of the podcast if she was jealous that her daughter had a larger following than she did. Let's get into it.
Have there been instances where your mother has expressed feelings of jealousy towards you? And how does that affect your relationship with her?
There's this video going around of my mom being jealous of me when I was little, having a better relationship with my dad than she did.
That's his whole kid. But not you being jealous of a baby girl.
It's not that. It's just
She a daddy's girl. She said he better love me more than he calm down. He was in the okay. He was in there making her. Okay, so he's gonna love her.
I hate that she's just chuckling about this because it's no matter to cackle at. She's admitted to being extremely jealous of her daughter when her daughter was very young, and she even admitted on a live stream, this is not speculation, this is not allegedly, it literally came out of Ash Trevino's mouth. It's something that she admitted to on a prior stream, where she talked about how jealous she was of her daughter when she was an infant, having a better relationship with the father, that she used to tug her hair and just treat her badly due to the fact that she had a better relationship with her father than Ash did. And that's your whole ass baby. Why would you do that? And that genuinely, it makes me so sad for her daughter having to go through that. And Camilla did a really good job on this podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea who she was prior to this, but after seeing this, I was like, okay, good job. You were really clocking her on all her bullshit, and she really did. Let's continue with the podcast because she calls her out even further for everything. But Ash tries to backtrack and say that, she, you know, even though she was jealous of her whenever she was a infant for having a better relationship with the dad, that she was really proud of her, and that she ended up even buying her a Gucci purse just to show how proud of her she was.
Well, you know, I would have had over 1 million and something
Woulda,
followers.
coulda, shoulda, girl. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
But
She
then
got
they did that
millions.
mass unfollowing, and then they took my account. So of course,
You
but
hear
no,
that?
I
That
am
sounds like-
very. No, it does not. I am very proud of her though. Like I bought her a Gucci purse when for her was it 900K or 800K? Bought her a Gucci purse. Like what 15-year-old literally? If
Not
you're-
my ass. I had Barbies.
Exactly.
My Barbies didn't even have a Gucci purse.
Exactly. It's like, you know, I'm not jealous of her. I'm blessed to be able to give her the life that I've always wanted as a little girl. You know what? I might have not had a Gucci bag, but I had their dad, okay? At 15, so.
Keep in mind as well, if you're unfamiliar with the Ash Trevino lore, there is a lot of it. There's a lot of it, especially this being the first time I've ever covered her. Y'all probably unfamiliar with her background if you haven't seen other videos diving into the Ash Trevino lore. And pretty much Ash talked about how she was 15 when she met their father, and he was much older than she was, which that's a huge issue in itself. But just saying, I might not have had a Gucci purse when I was 15, but I had your dad, knowing that the kids don't have their dad anymore. That's really just an appalling, disgusting thing to say to your kids. Now, Camilla did end up asking her kids if, you know, the upsides, the pros and the cons to having social media and being put out there on the internet for millions of people to see. And the kids pretty much talked about how there was a lot of pros to it, but all the pros that they listed was more so like the monetary gain that you can have from doing social media, like the trips, the all paid for expenses, the shopping, just being able to live almost financially free doing social media. And as a kid, sure, that's very nice, but then they also listed a lot of really sad cons to the situation, such as having to be pulled out of school, losing a lot of friends from the situation. And Ash tried to make it look like they decided collectively, the kids, that they just didn't want to be in school no more, whenever the whole situation really was they started being picked on because of Ash parading around on social media doing the type of content that she does. And they ended up getting picked on for that, and they lost a lot of friends, and that's ultimately why they decided to drop out of school and start doing homeschooling. And Ash takes like no accountability for that.
People don't like my mom going live, like getting clipped or anything, because I guess they're embarrassed of it for being our friends and stuff.
How does that make you feel?
to be honest. There's nothing I can do about it.
But there is.
I mean, it sucks, yes. But at the end of the day, like, their friends shouldn't be around, because if I'm live, they even know. If I'm live, like, don't come in my room. Don't come in, like, unless I'm live with them and I'm like, hey, we're going to do a live. But even then, they don't like to be on camera.
Okay.
So, you know, it's, and like she said, what they clip is not, it's not in my control.
Again, that's bullshit. I understand if you want to do social media, that's one thing, and like, you shouldn't be stopped from being able to do social media just because you're a shitty person. But at the same time, if your kids are facing negative backlash for you doing social media, I think it's time to take into consideration what's more important, your kids or your terrible online presence and horrible digital footprint. And Ash is making it seem like it's the internet's fault for clipping certain moments whenever it's quite literally her fault for putting those moments out there to be clipped. That's just my thought on it. But then anyways, her kids ended up talking about before how if they come into the bedroom while Ash is live, which that's their mom, and just because she goes live literally all day, all freaking day, does that mean that her kids just can't interact with her because mommy's on a live stream? That's like me filming a video and telling my kid, get the fuck out of the bedroom because I'm filming. No, that would never damn happen. I honestly, you gotta pick and choose, and if doing it, social media is more important than having kids, you really should reevaluate your life and your decisions. But her kids talked about how they have bad body image. The oldest daughter did, at least, because when she would go in the room and talk to her mom while she was on a live stream, you know, adults would clip the content and then talk horribly about the daughter, and she was like, yeah, that ended up giving me a lot of bad self-confidence issues. And then Ash even did talk about how pretty much her friends are just jealous. It's not the fact that her mom, Ash, is just a terrible person, and that's why they don't want to be associated with her daughter because of the mother's presence online. She makes it seem like the friends were just jealous that the daughters were able to take trips and have Gucci purses and live this extravagant lifestyle, which, let's be so for real, it's not. You know what I mean? And I feel so bad for these kids, but let's get into that clip.
Are jealous because of the life that they have. They don't go to school anymore. They're homeschooled. There's reasons why I pulled them out of school, because she wasn't talking to certain friends anymore also. Right. And it wasn't because of me.
But it is because of you for putting just horrid content on the internet and then dragging your kids into it. And what's really sad is the youngest daughter, she ends up talking about certain live streams that the mom had done. Like, there was one where one kid was really sick and was throwing up, and the mom was like, no, you didn't really throw up, did you? Oh, well, that sucks, and just kind of just let it go. But then the youngest daughter had talked about how she was really sick one time, and instead of, like, her mom being a parent and ending the live stream to simply go help her 12-year-old daughter, who was very ill at the time, she decided to start begging for money on TikTok, saying that she needs money to take care of her kid and da-da-da. And it literally said, if you send me a galaxy, I will, like, go into the medical details of what's going on with my child, which at that point is almost like selling medical information. That's horrible. It really is terrible, and let's watch it.
When they're around, I don't film them.
But have you done that in the past? Have you taken a situation and used it for views regarding the kids? Would you feel like maybe she has done that ever?
You've taken her when she was sick and you're begging for money.
When?
You said send the galaxy to know about my baby girl's health when I was in the hospital.
Oh, that's because, that was like a while back. But you weren't even in the hospital.
Yeah, but I still didn't like that.
Yeah, but we've already.
But you wanted my information out for a galaxy. They could send you a galaxy.
Honestly, can you imagine your child coming up to you, like, just, I understand it's like a podcast setting, but this is probably how she would act at home, if not worse at home, because then it wouldn't be on camera and she can just say whatever. Can you imagine your daughter confronting you, or just your son, your daughter, whoever the hell, maybe your kid confronting you and being like, this really bothered me that you was begging for money, then if somebody would give you that money, you would, like, open up about my medical information when I was in the hospital, and that hurt me, that bothered me, that made me feel horrible. And you just start laughing at them and just, like, put your hand off in their face, like, whatever. Like, what? Have y'all ever looked at Ash Trevino and just thought to yourself, what did this little goblin do in the past for income before TikTok? What did this little gremlin of a person do? Well, she actually worked at a dental office, but she got fired from her dental office because she was doing a live stream or on FaceTime with Santos, who is that 19-year-old boy who she previously talked to. And she had like a nip slip situation that went on during that live stream or FaceTime, and she got fired for it from a dental office. She worked at a dental office. To make matters worse, after she dated that 19-year-old, she ended up getting with a 23-year-old, and basically they had plans to get married and live happily ever after, but that did not work out because he ended up calling it off. And Camilla ended up bringing this up and was like, why would you date a 23-year-old? Like, ew, just ew, ick, why? And she just laughed about it and was like, well, because we could have had an open bar at the wedding. I mean, he's not a minor, he's not Santos. I wouldn't have to worry about him being around alcohol and me catching a charge. The logic.
But 23 is okay.
Literally, you're over 21. Yeah, you're
okay.
We can go to the bar and you can buy me a drink. At my wedding, we can have an open bar and I ain't got to worry about you going to jail or me going to jail for drinking underage. Yes.
Okay. To each their own.
Literally.
I could not.
So we're going to be talking about the kids' bedroom situation here in just a moment. Again, keep in mind that the kids don't have anything really. They don't have mattresses, they don't have beds, they don't have dressers, nightstands. It's just quite literally a room that they just, I guess, pallet up on the floor. And Camilla ended up offering to buy them, like, the 2 nightstands, the bed frame, the headboard, the dresser, like, whatever they need for their bedroom. Like, literally, she said, just send me a list, like, and I'll buy everything. I'm not going to give you the money for it, because God knows what you'd spend the money on. Definitely not for your kids, but I will buy them everything that they need for their bedroom. Just send me their wish list, and I'll buy it and get it shipped to your address. And, Ash just kind of laughed about the situation, and it's so sad seeing the kids here in the situation, like, being excited about being able to sleep in a bed at the hotel. And Camilla's like, yeah, the bed's nice, isn't it? Like, oh my God, I feel bad for you guys. And Ash just, like, laughs about the situation the entire time. And Camilla ended up doing a live stream going into detail about how pretty much Ash never got back into contact with her so that she could purchase the kids a bed.
Not paid, is that true? No, I did not pay Ashley Trevino to be on my podcast, because why would I do that? I paid for everything else. I literally paid for everything for her to be here. I paid for everything. So no, I'm not going to pay her to be on the podcast. Are you actually going to get her kids' beds? Yes, I literally am. Like, just
explain that you're not just gonna send money for.
Yeah, okay.
She's
I'm
gonna
not
spend it on other shit.
Bro,
So you
why
have to
would I
wait to
send
buy the beds directly?
Exactly. I'm not gonna send her money. Because if I send her money, she's just gonna go get her nails done and these goofy ass extensions done. So I'm going to buy it and have it shipped to her house. So she has no excuse on why it didn't, or did it get there, did it not? Like, no, I'm going to literally purchase a bed, a mattress, nightstands, whatever that they need for a room, and that's that. And her kids still don't have a bed. So what's that funny? Yeah, what's funny? Nothing's that funny when your kids don't have a damn bed. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's why they're enjoying the hotel bed. I'm just kidding.
That I paid for?
I'm just kidding.
How is the hotel bed, you guys? Is it good? Wonderful? You like having a nightstand?
Yeah, it's comfy.
No bed bugs?
No bed bugs.
I'm switching up the gameplay here. I hope that's okay with you. And for those of you who are wondering about what this game was called, it's actually Hellblade. I had a lot of people comment and ask me what it was. There you go, it's Hellblade. But, some could say that was nervous laughter for being called out on her shitty ways and how bad of a parent she is. But I don't even think that was nervous laughter. I think she's genuinely just a terrible person, and she thinks it's funny. And that's why she was laughing about the situation, because she's not nervous. She just thinks it's funny that she's a horrible person. And she always tries to play, like, the victim card and make it seem like, oh, because I was a young mom, I never really had help, da-da-da-da. I'm a young mom, and I never once played that victim card to make it seem like I should be doing better, or I should be doing this, but I can't because I'm a young mom. It's so hard. It is hard, but at the same time, I've never lost my shit or didn't get my son a bed or the proper things that he needed just because I'm a young mom. That's no card to pull, and I think that if you are pulling that card, you really need to step back and evaluate your life and your decisions and how you're going to be able to do better for your kids moving forward. What's sad though is how her kids quite literally said too that even though there are pros like the monetary gain from doing social media, they'd rather literally go back to being nobodies and just not have that media circus flying around their head with social media and everybody critiquing them. They'd rather have their confidence back and just live normal how they used to, or as normal as it was for them prior to the social media entering their lives and their household. And how Camilla went live after the situation and kind of talked about how terrible of a mom she is. Ash went live after the situation to try to save a face, and it did not work for her in her favor at all.
It was fair to me. In reality, no. But like I said, it is what it is, you know? I sat there and I told y'all it was going to be raw. Like, then one thing y'all also have to remember is Camilla is a young girl too. She's literally younger than Max, I believe. So I think she's like 22. So again, it wasn't somebody older that was doing the interview. So she is younger and she doesn't have.
I hate that Ash is trying to turn the situation and make it look like Camilla just was not being fair to her because she was younger and didn't have kids, so she didn't understand the situation. But it is what it is at the end of the day. You don't have to have kids. You don't have to be a certain age to look at this whole situation with Ash and how she does her kids and see that it's absolutely wrong. But then she brought up the fact that Camilla's 22, so she's younger than Max, who I think Max is 23. And, yeah, Max turns out to be one of the biggest gifters to Ash Trevino, and he ended up going on a TikTok and talked about how he wants nothing to do with Ash Trevino or the situation at all.
Guys, so I'm sure you all saw the podcast today with Camila and Ash. Lots of eyes, lots of eyes. I told Ash when I first started talking to her that that's not what I liked, not what I want. Too many eyes on me. I'm just not comfortable with it. I should have listened to you guys in the beginning whenever we said don't get involved, don't get involved. I think I shouldn't have done it. I should have listened to you guys. You guys gave me the Trevino effect or whatever you guys call it. Should have listened. Oh, damn. But I just told her, I called her today, told her that I'm over. It's over. I can't do it anymore. It's too much. Too fast. Way too much for me. And I never intended to make anybody mad or whatever, but like opening TikTok and scrolling and seeing pictures of me, pictures of my family, is just too much. I really could not do all this. So, again, I apologize if I hurt anybody's feelings, if I made anybody mad. I try every day to work to be a better person.
They ended up getting Max on FaceTime during this podcast and talked a little bit about the situation, and Camilla like dug him a new freaking hole too. But the kids, I feel so bad for having just an absolute deadbeat mom. It really sucks that you can't just pick your parents whenever you're born, but I feel bad for her kids so badly. The kids, y'all know that the dad passed away, and then they've just had to be subjected to terrible co-parent dad after co-parent dad because Ash just cycles through them like she does a load of clothes in the washer. She just exposes them to so much horrible shit, and at the end of the day, it literally, I think that's why I wanted to make this video, is because I feel so terribly bad for those kids. And she's had a lot of CPS cases in the past, and she like brags about beating all of them and how, yeah, CPS has been involved like 100+ times, but I win every time. And that's not even, that's such a weird flex, but okay.
I haven't even met her children yet, who, by the way, don't have bedside tables and or beds. And you're her top gifter, so I think you should probably buy her kids, probably take her kids on a shopping spree or something.
You literally said you were going to do that.
Well, that's the thing. Once we're married, we could do that. I know, Camila, I thought you could do it.
I'll take on that role, but
Okay, we'll take on until I get there in Miami.
are you using Ash for her money?
Am I using her for her money?
I think ultimately, there's still some more clips we're going to be taking a look at, but ultimately this podcast was a good thing, ultimately. And again, keep in mind, not good for Ash, because it just exposed her further for the POS that she is. We all know it, okay? This podcast did her no justice at all, but I feel like it did give a little bit of justice to the kids, because then they were able to say their side of the situation and say how uncomfortable and upset that they were that her mom not only went on social media, but tiraded them around as well. We're going to be taking a look at Camilla kind of talking about the bed situation again, saying how Ash never sent her details to actually allow her to go through with sending the bed and the furniture to the kids because they desperately do need a bedroom. They're 15 and 12. Let's keep that in mind. But as the podcast continued, Ash ended up asking the two children to leave the room so that they can continue with the questions without them being present. And I feel like that was the best thing to do, even though they should have never been to the Bob House in the first place. Let's keep that in mind as well. It's an OF content creation house with all these adult porn stars who live there together and do all this content together, and it's just not a place for children to be running around. Let's keep that in mind as well. But ultimately, again, like I said, I feel like kind of was a good thing that the kids went on this podcast because they got to say their side of the story, and that's very necessary. And I do think that Ash is a terrible mom, but I wouldn't say she's the worst mother. You have parents out there like Ruby Frank, but she's still up there.
Her sit here and talk crazy because it's just not true. I'm still, hello, clip this. Ashley, I'm still waiting for your kids to send me what they want. If you want to send me a text about that instead of talking about me on live, because I was nothing but respectful. I was nothing but kind, and I didn't even start anything with you but honestly, you're so predictable that I could have guessed this would happen. And yeah, I didn't portray you to be bad. I still don't think you're a horrible human being. I just think you got to learn when to just. These are incredible though. Like, shout out to you. Yeah. Shout out to you, girl. Y'all are literally so cute. I think y'all are incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. Congrats on 1.1 mil, baby girl. Congrats. Woo! Congrats.
The fact that Ash Trevino quite literally went on live streams after this and tried to make it look like Camilla was just painting her out to be the bad guy whenever she quite literally was just asking her serious questions about why are you doing this with your kids? Why are you raising them this way? Why don't they have a bed? Genuine questions that we all want answers to, and Ash just laughs about the situation while throwing jabs at her kids, then tries to act like she's the victim of the situation and she was just blindsided by this whole event. I mean, the podcast could have been titled a lot worse things. I think that she got off easy with it being titled The World's Worst Mother. Honest to God, I think she got off easy with that one because you could have titled it so many other things that are so much worse that would also be true. I feel so bad for the kids in this situation, and honestly, I feel like Ash is just going to continue to dig a hole for herself and then just sleep in it, and then we can just bury the dirt back on top of her, and just that'll be that for her career at the end of the day when it comes down to social media. And she needs to keep in mind too, oh my goodness, she's going to be unhireable for literally even a gas station at this point with her online presence and everything. Nobody's going to want to hire her just for how vile she is. Nobody's going to want to be associated with her. So when she ruins her social media career for herself, because this is a digital footprint that she's deciding to leave, she's going to be, and the kids are obviously going to go on to have thriving careers in social media, even though that they say they don't like the circus around it. I think it's unfortunately, as sad as it is, too late for the kids to go back to living a normal life just because of what Ash decided to do by posting everything about them on social media and just parading them around and using them for a media circus content. Unfortunately, I don't think the kids can go back to just living a normal lifestyle because of what Ash did, but I feel like they're bright enough and grounded enough to understand that they can actually build something for themselves on social media, then get away from Ash and just live their best lives without being in such scrutiny all the time because of what her mom decides to put on the internet. I really do wish the kids the absolute best in this situation, and I feel so bad that this is what they have to go through. I honestly, as an adult, could not imagine my mom doing this, like, ever, especially not when I'm a kid, a teenager, still trying to figure life out. It's just so sad and unfortunate, and seeing stuff like this really does make me appreciate my mom like 1,000%, because I just could not imagine my mother being like this ever, and thank God she's the furthest thing from this. But with that being said, I just want to know y'all's thoughts and opinions on the situation. I never expected to talk about Ash Trevino, but this podcast really made me want to, because again, I just feel so bad for her kids. But again, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it in the comment section down below. Hopefully I feel better in the next couple days and I'm not as sick as I am, because then I can actually have energy going into videos and I won't sound like crap. I know I sound horrible right now. There's nothing I can do about it. But hey, if you send me a galaxy, I'll release my medical information to you. I'm just kidding, y'all. But with that being said, I am going to wrap this up. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about anything we just talked about in the comment section down below. I am walking out of this situation a new fan of Camilla because she really called out Ash in this entire situation, and that podcast was just brilliant. She even got Max on a FaceTime, like, what the are you doing? Are you serious too? And it's just great. It was great. Again, I feel bad for the kids, but good shit on calling out Ash Trevino. With that being said, alright, goodbye.